Please welcome to Moment and Story. Here you'll find story that inspire, touch the heart, and reflect the beauty of everyday life. The promise that never came. Dawn in Chiang Mai is soft. Mist clings to treetops. Birds call from the bamboo grove behind a small wooden house. Mintra ties her hair into a ponytail. White shirt, canvas bag. She leaves home early, walking to the riverside road. She works as a front desk host at a mid-size hotel near the Ping River. Her job is simple: smile, greet, and solve small problems before they grow. The hotel is not fancy, but it is warm. Frangipani flowers perfume the corridors. Every afternoon, a northern breeze moves the cream curtains like a slow breath. Mintra loves this work. She likes opening doors for strangers. She likes answering, which cafe is good. She even made her own hand-drawn map for guests. She circled a noodle shop she loves, and a quiet temple tourists rarely find. She wants people to see Chiang Mai as she sees it: gentle, patient, kind. On a pale blue Friday evening in early winter, a line of travelers crowds the lobby. Among them is a tall man in a navy sweater. Green-gray eyes, a smile that reaches them. He presses his hands together in a clumsy wait. Sawasteen. Krub, he says. Booking, Jason. His tie is awkward, but pleasant. Welcome, Kun Jason, Mintra says, voice steady and warm. He places a heavy suitcase beside the counter. Hands over his passport. While she fills the check-in card, he studies a framed photo of a temple on the wall. It's beautiful, he says. Which temple is this? Wat Phra Singh, she answers. In the evening, tree shadows fall across the Viharan just right. I'd like to go, he says. But I don't know the way. Mintra pulls out her map. She draws a soft line with a pen. He watches her finger trace the small roads. Thank you, he says, sincerely. His room is on the 3rd floor. They ride the elevator together. He asks about the Loy Krathong and Ipun festivals, about floating lanterns, about cafes where locals actually sit and work. Mintra answers with a small spark in her eyes. She tells him about a back street where pink trumpet trees bloom, and a coffee shop that roasts beans and scents the whole lane. As she speaks, the corridor feels warmer. That night, rain falls lightly, lobby lights reflect on polished stone. Jason comes down wearing a cap, scanning the doorway. Excuse me, he says, the khao soi place you circled, still open. She checks the time. Closed. But there's another shop open late. Not far. He smiles in relief. Could you maybe show me? I'm afraid I'll get lost. Mintra hesitates. Hotel rules don't forbid it, but she rarely goes with guests. Still. His eyes are sincere. Okay, she says. I'll only guide you there. Deal, he grins. At least let me buy you water as a thank you. His tone makes her laugh. Niman Road glows under drizzle. Motorbikes hum slowly past. The smell of wet earth mixes with coffee from open doors. The khao soi shop is small, its curry pots bubbling and bright. Jason perches on a plastic chair, a little awkward. He orders, khao soi nua. Ped noi. And the owner chuckles with affection. The bowls arrive, golden curry, soft egg noodles, lime wedge, shallots, pickled greens. Jason takes one spoonful. His eyes widen. Wow, he says. This is... wow. Mintra laughs. As long as you like it. Very much, he says, thumbs up to the kitchen. Laughter rolls around the room. They walk back through soft rain. Jason asks about her family, why she loves Chiang Mai. She says she loves December mornings, monks' chants drifting on the wind, a quiet that is never empty. He listens like a child being told a bedtime story. At the hotel entrance, he removes his cap. Rain beads fall from the brim. Thank you for tonight, he says. Rest well, she answers. Tomorrow should be clear. I hope so, he says. The weather. And, he pauses, and tomorrow's adventure. After that, he appears in the lobby almost every morning. He asks directions to markets, waterfalls, little alleys. In the evening, he returns to tell her what he found, a fruit seller with a huge smile. A Songfa driver who held an umbrella over him, a child who tied a red yarn bracelet on his wrist. They said it's for good luck, he says. It is, Mintra smiles. This city loves to tie luck to strangers. On Sunday evening, Mintra is arranging flowers when Jason sets a small brown envelope on the counter. For you, he says. Inside is a postcard, mountains and mist. On the back, to Mintra, the kind mapmaker of Chiang Mai. Warmth rises to her cheeks. Thank you, she says. He rubs his neck, shy. People like you make this city even better, he says. The next night, music spills from a corner cafe. Jason asks if she could join for a short break. Mintra hesitates, then nods. They sit at a worn wooden table. Fresh roasted coffee scents the air. A singer's low voice fills the small room. A cool draft slips through the window. Do you like music? He asks. I do, she says. But I don't sing well. I'm not good at anything special, he says, smiling. I only know that lately. I feel strangely happy. He watches steam rise from a cup of cocoa. Back home I work so much, I forget to hear myself. Some cities, Mintra says, teach us to breathe again. Maybe Chiang Mai is doing that to me. A few days later, he asks her to show him the morning market at Sanpa Khoi. They pass stalls of flowers, bright gerbers like rows of smiles. He buys a small bouquet, asks the seller to tie an orange ribbon. It's for your mother, if you don't mind, he says. Mintra is still, then accepts it with a quicker heartbeat. On the last afternoon of his trip, Jason rolls his suitcase to the counter. His flight is soon. Mintra wears her professional smile. Have a safe journey, she says. He looks at her longer than before. I will come back, he says, an ordinary sentence. But his voice is so sure that time holds still for a breath. I'll look for your email, she says, slipping him a hotel card with her address handwritten on the back. He pockets it carefully. Thank you for everything, Mintra, for maps, for conversations, for the kindness that made this city feel bright. A taxi carries him away. Sunlight falls across the glass doors. His shadow stretches along the lobby floor, then disappears with the rolling wheels. That night, Mintra closes her shift late. She reads the postcard again, blue ink on plain brown paper. It feels like a gentle hand on her shoulder, reminding her a new window might be opening. On Nawart Bridge, the river wind is cool. Lights ripple like threads of gold on the water. Her thoughts gather into a single word, and inside that hope, she sees tomorrow, same hotel, same routine, but a heart that is no longer the same. After Jason left Chiang Mai, the city felt quieter. The hotel routine continued. Guests checked in and out. Curtains still swayed with the breeze. But one corner of the lobby felt empty, missing his shadow, his smile. On the first night after his departure, Mintra's phone buzzed. A new email arrived. Subject, from Jason. She opened it quickly. The words were simple but warm. Dear Mintra, thank you for everything in Chiang Mai. I will never forget your kindness. I promise I'll come back sooner than you expect. Her heart beat fast. The word promise at the end was like a lantern rising into the night sky. Days turned to weeks. Mintra began counting time differently, not by work shifts, not by calendar pages, but by the rhythm of his emails. Every week, one arrived, sometimes a photo of his city, sometimes a cup of coffee he brewed himself, sometimes just one line, I miss khao soi with you. She read each line again and again. Her replies were clumsy in English, but Jason always wrote back kindly, your words are perfect. Don't worry. Hope grew like a small fire inside her. She dreamed of him sitting in the lobby again. She dreamed of his awkward why. She dreamed of his eyes, green-gray and gentle. The dreams made waiting sweet, not bitter. November came. Ipoong Festival filled Chiang Mai with light. Lanterns floated upward, millions of tiny suns. The whole city shimmered with wishes. Jason's message came that night. I wish I were there with you. Mintra released her lantern into the sky. She typed under the photo she sent, this one is for you. He replied with a heart emoji, and one more sentence, I'll come soon. Promise. The word promise echoed in her chest, a bell of hope that rang all night. On quiet evenings, Mintra opened a small notebook. She wrote down every expense saved. Each page began with the same line, keep for our future. She even sketched a little house, 2 windows, a tiny porch, a bench facing the hills, and below she wrote, our home. No one else saw those pages, but in her heart. His name was written clearly. Winter returned the following year, so did Jason. He walked into the lobby with bright eyes, new shirt, bigger smile. Sawasti Krub, Mintra, he said, his tie still clumsy, but stronger, more confident. Mintra felt the air around her grow warm. Her smile grew wider than she intended. In her heart a voice shouted, he came back. He kept his promise. That evening, Jason invited her to dinner, at a riverside restaurant. Lanterns reflected on the Ping River. He spoke about work, about his busy city. Then he looked into her eyes. I want to spend more time in Thailand, Mintra. You make this place feel like home. That night, Mintra lay awake. Her heart beat with new hope. The notebook by her bed no longer felt like a fantasy. It felt like a plan. She believed his promise was alive, growing, taking shape. Every morning she awoke with the same thought. He will come again. He promised. She told her mother with shining eyes, Mom. He said he'll come to stay. Her mother's smile was gentle, cautious. Child, foreign men's words are like the wind. Sometimes they come. Sometimes they go, but if his heart is true, I'll be happy for you. Each time Jason returned, he never came empty-handed. A silver necklace, a new phone, elegant shoes, a warm winter coat. Mintra accepted them with a smile, but late at night, she placed all the gifts on her table. She stared at them silently, asking herself, but what about his heart? Did he give that too? One night, he held her close. His voice was soft, almost trembling. Wait for me. Next year, we'll have more time together. I promise. The same word again. Mintra knew she had heard it before, but each time it sounded new. Each time it gave her reason to believe again. When Jason returned to America again, life in Chiang Mai slowed back to silence. The gifts he left still sat on Mintra's table. The necklace, the purse, the coat. But the promise he had spoken on the balcony, the dream of a small house, seemed to vanish like smoke in the winter air. Emails arrived. But they were different. shorter, colder, a few lines at most. Morning. Busy today. Sometimes only a smiley face. Mintra wrote long replies. Her words were filled with care, but her heart trembled with every silence that followed. She kept herself busy, hotel shifts, part-time hours at a cafe. In the evening she opened her notebook, looked at sketches of the dream house, and whispered to herself, "This is for our future." But each time she opened her email, the truth struck harder. He never mentioned the house again, never spoke of marriage, only sweet words, never solid plans. Weeks passed. Jason's replies came slower, 1 day late, then 3 days late, then a week. Mintra stared at her inbox, empty and cruel. The silence cut deeper than anger ever could. One night, she gathered her courage. During a video call, her voice trembled. "Jason, do you still think about the little house? The one we dreamed of?" Jason froze. Long silence. Then he sighed. "Don't pressure yourself, Mintra. We're enjoying life now, aren't we?" Her heart cracked. She smiled weakly, but behind her eyes tears burned. He still said "I love you," but love without a future felt like a flower without roots. Each time Jason returned to Chiang Mai, he still brought her gifts, still took her to fine restaurants, still filled her days with laughter, but never spoke of tomorrow. Mintra began to notice the difference. The gifts sparkled in her hands, but at night, her chest ached with emptiness. The silence between promises was louder than any word. One rainy night, she sat alone in her room. Her notebook lay open, the house she had drawn blurred by falling tears. She whispered to herself, "Is his promise real, or was it never meant to come at all?" The storm outside raged, but the storm in her heart was louder still. Time stretched thin. Mintra's days at the hotel became routine again. Check in, check out, smile at strangers, offer directions. But inside, her heart felt heavy. Each evening she opened her phone, each evening she waited, and each evening, silence greeted her. Jason's emails came less often, his words grew smaller. Busy. Later. Next week. Every reply was like a door half closed. Still, Mintra tried to believe. She told herself, maybe he is tired. Maybe he is stressed. She remembered his smile on the balcony, his promise under the lanterns, his hand holding hers by the river. Those memories were warm, like sunlight in winter. They kept her waiting, even when her heart whispered doubts. Some nights she sat by the window. The city outside glowed with temple bells and streetlights, but her room was filled with silence. She checked her inbox again and again, refreshing. Waiting. The phone screen stayed blank. She pressed the postcard he once gave her against her chest. The ink was fading, but she whispered his words aloud, to Mintra, the kind mapmaker of Chiang Mai. Her tears fell on the card, her whisper cracked. "Then why did you stop writing to me?" One day, she wrote a long message. "Jason, do you still want me in your future? Do you still want the house we dreamed about? I need to know." She pressed send. Her hands shook. Her breath trembled. Hours passed. No reply. Days passed. Still no reply. Her heart sank deeper with every empty day. At the hotel, Mintra wore her best smile. Guests saw her as cheerful, polite, gentle. No one knew that her nights were sleepless, that her mornings were filled with swollen eyes. She became an actress in her own life, performing joy while hiding sorrow. One evening, the hotel phone rang. It was Jason. His voice was cheerful, almost casual. "Hey, Mintra. Sorry. I've been busy, work, you know. It's hard. She wanted to shout, "Busy is not silence. Busy is not forgetting." But all she said was, "I understand." Her heart cracked deeper, but her voice stayed calm. When the call ended, she sat in the lobby long after midnight, her tears hidden in the quiet shadows. After that, the silence grew heavier. Emails stopped, calls stopped, only her waiting remained. And in the stillness of her room, she whispered the same question again and again: was his promise ever real? By now, months had passed. Jason's silence no longer felt like distance, it felt like abandonment. Mintra woke each morning with dread. Her phone lay cold beside her pillow. No new emails, no new messages, nothing. She whispered, "Did he forget me?" One evening, she scrolled through social media. She never searched for him before. She trusted him too much. But that night, her trembling hands typed his name, and there it was, a photograph. Jason, standing in front of a house, a woman beside him, a child in his arms. Her breath caught, her chest tightened. She blinked hard, hoping it was a mistake, but the caption was clear: Family Day. Her world collapsed. The notebook by her bed, with sketches of their dream house, suddenly looked like a cruel joke. She pressed the page with trembling fingers. Her tears fell, darkening the ink. Every word of his promises echoed in her ears. "I'll come back. We'll live together. I promise." Lies, all lies. That night, Jason called, as if nothing had happened. His voice was light, easy. "Mintra, I miss you." "When I come next time," her voice shook. "Stop." "Jason, tell me the truth. Do you have a family? A wife? A child?" Silence, long, heavy. Then he sighed. Yes. Her tears spilled. Her hands went numb. She could barely breathe. "How long?" She whispered. "Always," he said softly. "I never wanted to hurt you. You're special to me. But my life, it's complicated." Mintra pressed the phone to her ear. Her voice broke. "Then why promise me? Why make me dream of a life that was never mine?" Jason's reply was weak. "I didn't mean harm. I liked how you made me feel." The words cut deeper than any blade. She realized she was not his future. She was only his escape. After the call, Mintra fell to the floor. Her sobs filled the small room. The notebook lay open, the dream house staring back at her like a ghost. She whispered through her tears, "There was never a promise, only a lie I chose to believe." The night stretched endlessly. Her pillow was soaked, her heart, broken beyond repair. Days turned into nights, nights turned into weeks, but the pain remained. Mintra moved like a shadow. She worked, she smiled, she spoke politely to hotel guests, but when she returned to her small room, her heart collapsed into silence. Jason sent more messages. "I'm sorry. You're special. Please don't leave me." But every word now felt like poison. Part of her still loved him. Part of her still remembered his smile, his laughter under Chiang Mai's lanterns, his hand holding hers on the riverbank. But another part screamed, "He lied. He has a family. You are not his future." The two voices battled inside her chest, leaving her exhausted and broken. One evening, Mintra sat at her desk. The gifts he gave her were piled on the table. The purse, the necklace, the shoes, the coat. She stared at them, her eyes swollen. Then she whispered, "These are not love, they are chains." She gathered them into a box. Every piece felt heavy in her hands. She carried the box outside, set it near the rubbish bins, and walked away. Her steps trembled, but each one grew stronger. The next morning, she wrote a final message. Jason, I loved you with all my heart, but love built on lies is not love at all. I cannot be your shadow anymore. Goodbye. She pressed send, her fingers shook, but when the screen flashed message sent, her chest felt a small release. Jason replied minutes later, please, don't. I need you. Mintra read it once, then she deleted the conversation. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but they were tears of release, not weakness. That night, she stood on Newart Bridge, lanterns drifted across the river. She whispered to the water, I will not wait for broken promises anymore. I will not beg for love that isn't mine. I choose myself. The current carried her words away, and for the first time in years, her heart felt lighter. A new beginning. Months passed. The wounds did not vanish overnight, but slowly, Mintra learned to breathe again. She left the hotel job. She opened a small homestay on the edge of the city. A few rooms, simple meals, a garden she tended with her own hands. Travelers came. Some stayed one night, some stayed a week. They sat with her on the porch, ate sticky rice and grilled pork, and listened to her laugh. For the first time, she was building something truly hers. Each morning, she brewed coffee. She sat on the balcony, watching sunlight touch the rice fields. Birds sang. The wind carried temple bells. She smiled to herself. This was peace. This was home. No promises, no waiting. Just the quiet happiness of being free. Sometimes, she found the old notebook, the one filled with sketches of a dream house. She looked at the drawings of windows, the little porch, the lantern by the door. Her eyes watered. Not with sorrow, but with gratitude. She whispered, those dreams taught me how strong I could be. One evening, she stood outside. The sky was filled with lanterns. Floating lights rose into the darkness, just as they had when Jason once held her hand. But this time, she lit a lantern alone. She pressed her palms together and whispered a new promise. I will never wait for love that hurts me again. I will love myself first, always. The lantern rose higher, carrying her words into the endless night. That night, Mintra returned to her room. She looked around, the bed, the table, the vase of fresh flowers, and she smiled, for she finally understood. Home was not a house built by promises. Home was her own heart, steady, strong, and free. She whispered softly, I am my own promise. And with that, she closed her eyes, rested peacefully, and welcomed the dawn of a new tomorrow.